that is what Trump thinks about himself. So he's like, why wouldn't they want to hang out with me? No reason, weird grandpa. No reason at all. No reason. It's not because you're like a creepy weirdo that they're avoiding and want nothing to do with you.
When you hear those women today on Capitol Hill, and then you hear what the president has to say, who do you think has more sway with your Republican colleagues? Those women or the president?
Well, with my Republican constituents, those women have the most credibility, and I think it's disrespectful to call it a hoax. This is not a hoax, not at all, and it's not going to go away. If the president wants to highlight the things that he's trying to do in the White House, then he should just call for the vote and release all of these files, and then he can move on. But they want to drag this out.
When you hear those women,
someone asked, what does the first lady think? I don't know. I did catch, and I'll just show you guys tomorrow. Melania, oh my God. Let me just be honest. I feel really bad for her, and I hope she gets to live some of her life not under the thumb of creepy Trump. But I do think she's complicit in all this. I've read a lot about her. I think she's getting paid handsomely and profiting off all this. But I still think it's really disgusting. Even though she won't let Trump within like a foot of her, I still think it's gross to have to be around him. So, but oh my God, she was giving a press conference today. I don't know why they thought she would be a person. You know, if you read her biography, she said she had like architecture degree or design degree. She doesn't have any of those. Like, she has no idea what she's talking about. She was given, I don't know why she's doing a press conference on AI, but Melania thinks that large language models are robots who are taking over. That's what I can tell you. I'll just tease it. I'll show you the clips tomorrow. But it's like, I literally was like, I had to check the name of the press conference over and over because I was like, wait a minute. She thinks that large language models are robots that are walking amongst us right now. Yeah, she's scared of the machines. She gave a press conference today. Nothing about the Epstein victims, but she's very concerned about her toaster killing her, I think. I have no idea. I mean, it was like, can a scientist talk? Nope, because that's what fascism is about. It's about discrediting science. And you'll see when we talk to RFK, like the last thing, we're never going to hear from an expert again. It's just dumb people waxing poetic, you know, like that's what fascism is. It's like, any experts, let's get away, let's unalive those people.
why do you think that they're not resonating with the White House?
Well, they're resonating with the public in my district and all across the country. And in fact, they were resonating in the White House 9 months ago when the Attorney General said they would release the files, when the Vice President said they would release the files, when the FBI Director said they would release the files, when Trump's own children said that these files needed to be released. Why the 180-degree turn here from the administration? I think there are rich and powerful people who've always been beyond the reach of the law, or thought that they were, who want to remain there, and they're donors. They are donors to Republicans and Democrats, and we need to tell them, I'm sorry, you are going to be accountable to the law.
Why do you think that they're not?
Ultimately, I do think that, I think honestly that, who knows? I'd be terrified to find, it's going to be very unfortunate when we do find out who these people are, but I know they're all going to be very rich and very powerful. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate it so much. Sorry, I'm just going to skip around because I'm trying to remember. I wanted to show this clip of this woman. This is it. This is one of the survivors we heard speak who voted for Trump, which, I don't know how much sometimes those people just saying things like, I'm not a threat to you, or how much they mean it, but I found this very interesting. This is the survivor, and I'm sorry, is it Haley Robson? Whichever one it was, I should not say names because I'm probably going to get it wrong. Whichever survivor, when they were talking, said, I voted for Trump. That's who is speaking.
I have to ask you about someone who wasn't supportive today, and that is Donald Trump in the Oval Office calling what was happening in your discussion the Epstein hoax. He repeatedly called it a Democratic hoax, even though you were accompanied.
Lawrence, he didn't say democratic. He doesn't know the difference between nouns and adjectives. He said Democrat, like they all do, because of our education, because they know not what they speak of. I love how Lawrence is so nice. They didn't say democratic. They don't know that word.
By Republican members of the House as you were standing there. How did you feel about that when you heard that word applied to what was happening there?
So I'm going to go off of my survivor sister, Haley Robertson, and I voted for him.
So I think, okay, I forgot about this part. So then I was right. It was Haley Robson who was like, I voted for Trump. And then I think she is another survivor who also voted for Trump. That makes sense. Because I was like, oh yeah, this is Jenna Lisa Jones. Okay, yeah. Because I think there were two who were like, yeah, we voted for you because we thought you were going to help us.
I voted for Trump. And for him to say what he is saying is beyond me, because I put my hope in him and he's supposed to protect us. And for him to say that this is a joke and that it's sides, this is not sides. We will say it time and time again. None of us are up there accusing him of anything. There is no one that is accusing him of any wrongdoing. So for the fact that he is saying those things and saying it's a hoax, who are you hiding for then? Because if it's not you, then who is it? And that scares me. Who is it?
I have to ask you about...
And they kept making this distinction. I saw someone in the comments, and again, I don't know, I'm just reading comments. Someone said that Massey named John Paulson. I don't know that. John Paulson was a not great looking, old, very rich hedge fund manager in New York. I mean, I believe if we're talking about the same one, yeah, he's definitely a billionaire. But I don't know about that. I know, like, I'll show you these clips, like, I wasn't even going to play them, but like what they're trying to say is like there was this Epstein scholarship fund, and Ro Khanna and Thomas Massey have been saying like, I don't know that they're going to distinguish the difference between like the victims and the people that received those scholarships and like all sorts of things. Also, Massey was saying, I'll just let you hear this, that they're running like $2.5 million of attack ads in his district. Billionaire donors to the Republican Party are $2.5 million in attack ads, and he's in a very safe Republican area, and they're trying to oust him for this. So I bet there's a bunch of rich people.
Have you heard if what those survivors said today changed any other House Republicans' minds? Has anyone else said that they are willing to sign on to this?
Well, I've talked to a few of them, and they were compelled in our direction. But there's an immense pressure campaign from the White House on Republican members right now. So I really think you got to give some credit to the three Republican women, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace, who, in spite of all the threats from the White House, which are still continuing, went and did the right thing. They're standing up for women by standing up for this resolution.
What do those threats look like? What kind of pressure campaign are we talking about here?
Well, I'm feeling it myself in my own district. There's been $2.5 million of ads run against me by three billionaires who are mega donors to the Republican Party. And one of them's actually, I'm not going to say on Epstein's list, but he's in Epstein's black book. So I've been taking the brunt of that myself. I think what's being run against me is a threat to other Republicans to try to keep them from doing what I'm doing.
I found the John Paulson clip. Hold on. I'm downloading it. I'm going to add it to the end of my Epstein cover-up list. Hold on. As soon as it downloads, I'm going to add it because I think I found what you were talking about. Whoever was talking about that in the comments, I am downloading the clip because I love Jess Craven. She made a video about it. So as soon as it downloads, I'll add it and we can listen. I just haven't heard it. Here we go.
Your colleague, Congressman Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, suggested today that she said to President Trump that he should invite and host the survivors in the Oval Office. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and the survivors are willing to meet President Trump as well. And I think that would be good for President Trump to humanize these people so that they can see this, he can see the survivors and know that this is not a hoax.
And by the way, so this is, before we watch the clip, this is the quote that Jess Craven-Link put in the comments, or this is the quote from Massey. Let me give you the name of one of the billionaires, John Paulson. He is a major donor to the Republican Party, a major donor to the Speaker of the House, a major donor to the president's campaign, which maybe this is why Mike Johnson, all of a sudden, if you guys don't know, all of a sudden Mike Johnson's like, we should release the names on the list. Maybe this is why he's freaking out. So again, John Paulson, who's I mean, he's got at least like $3.5 billion or something. He's a hedge fund manager in New York. He's a major donor to the Republican Party, a major donor to the Speaker of the House, a major donor to the president's campaign, and he is in Epstein's black book. That is indicative of the types of people who may be implicated or embarrassed by a complete release of these files. So there you have it.
Survivors said that they had decided to compile their own list, but the reality is if they try to release that list, they're going to be sued into homelessness. They will be attacked. They will have death threats. And so what my colleague Marjorie Taylor Greene volunteered to do, and I've volunteered to do as well, is to read that list on the floor of the House of Representatives, because our founders put into the Constitution speech
Might be the most decent thing Marjorie Taylor Greene's ever volunteered to do in her life.
Debate immunity, which says that we can't be prosecuted for what we say on the floor of the House. So we're willing to help those survivors get
Through the speech and debate clause, anyone in Congress is covered by that. So they can say anything they want. They can't be sued. They can't be arrested. That's like the congressional speech and debate clause that protects all them. So they're saying they can't read it, but I will, or I guess Margarine is saying she will.
those names out there. And as my colleague Rokana has said, we trust the public to determine who were donors to the Epstein Scholarship Fund and who were users of the women who were exposed to sexual abuse, to differentiate between those two groups of people.
So that's what I was talking about. It's like I keep hearing this mentioned. I think like what they're saying and what they've learned from these victims is like it was like under this pretense of this Epstein Scholarship Fund, people were funneling some of the people, not all of the people, is what I believe he's trying to say. He's like, not everyone that donated to this quote unquote scholarship fund was using it to funnel money to Epstein to pay for whatever type of trafficking this is. But I think he's implying some people have, and we are going to differentiate between the two, which is effing crazy. I don't know. Listen, as far as Marjorie Taylor Greene having ulterior motives on this one thing, like, just understand she's a bigot, like, and lies about so many things. But I mean, I don't know how whatever she's doing right now personally would benefit her in terms of, like, her bread and butter is lying for Trump. So I don't know how, what the ulterior motive could be. Like, I don't know how, if she wants to exist in that world, what her, Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace are doing when they've been told, hey, anyone who signs on to this, it's a hostile act. I don't know how it benefits those three, especially with how easy it is for Republican or conservative men to turn on women. You know, they'll just throw them in the garbage. So for what sake came. So I don't know. I don't know what the ulterior motive is, other than just for some reason, like, this strikes a chord. Because if they have no feelings and this is strategic, then I would say this is more evidence that their brains don't work. Because if this is it because you believe in it, then you shouldn't do it, because this is not going to help you. Like, nearest I can tell, anyways. I can't think of a way that this would help the three of them. Like, that's why the rest of the spineless men who were going to sign this discharge petition disappeared. Literally, that's why, because Trump's like, do it and try it, see what happens. And for some reason, only these three people, like, continued on. I don't know. I just don't know how it directly benefits them. Okay, I want to show you this about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I was telling you guys yesterday how horrible her husband was, and I was saying, like, when she was like, still married when she got with oh my God, Brian Glenn. I was going to say Brian Green. I was like, no, that's her name. Brian Glenn, who's a executive at Real America's Voice now, the guy that told Zelensky to put on a suit. That's Marjorie's current boyfriend. And I was like, oh, she's cheating on her husband, whatever. Like, she's awful. She must be gross. And then I saw a video of her husband. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad you got away from this man. Like, I just want to show you just the random video I came across. And the point of this video is like, they don't tell you who it is till the end. But I mean, I already kind of said it. So, but yeah, I just want to show you who Marjorie Taylor Greene's ex-husband is. He's a monster. This is him. Some of these people he's screaming at are children. These are tiny children. These are underage. Some of them are underage girls who were praying in a parking garage, and he attacked. And he's in a cyber truck, hurling racist, bigoted, and misogynist statements at them for 5 minutes. Again, some of these are children.
Demolish Middle East.
First off, we're actually born here. We're born here. Yes, we were.
Why are you wearing all this? Not American.
It doesn't matter.
Here's the thing. I don't need your help finding him. We already found him, and you definitely want to stick around for that part. But first, let's quickly show the full video and give the context. This is at the Avalon Mall in Alpharetta, Georgia, in the parking garage there. These two young ladies stopped to pray because they're Muslim. And then this guy rolled up in his Cybertruck and had big feelings about that and decided to make it their problem.
That's really good.
Go back to your country because y'all believe in crazy. Question your authority. Go back to your country, please.
Okay.
We don't hold y'all here.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Yes. We don't want any Muslims.
Okay. Thank you. No one brought anything to you, brother.
It doesn't matter. I'm bringing it to you. I don't want your shit.
Oh.
Nobody really wants your shit here.
Did we bother you personally, though?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. You can.
But see, like, y'all want to kill gays. Y'all want to do all kind of crazy. Where y'all from? What country?
It doesn't matter where
Yes,
we're
it
from.
does.
It does not, though. Why does it matter to you, though?
That's because you're worshiping a false god.
No.
Yes, it is.
Are you Christian? All right, that's
Don't you worship in the shit.
okay.
American. Don't come from your crazy poor countries and act like you're gonna bring your shit here.
Okay. Cool, bro.
No,
Have a nice day.
because y'all are pieces of shit.
Okay, that's perfect.
You're the one attacking little girls.
Have a nice day.
Girls, like, I want y'all to think about what y'all's process is, what y'all are thinking. Y'all been
We
brainwashed.
know what we believe.
But don't come to America and believe this shit. Go back to your country and believe your crazy.
Okay, so that's fine. No one told you anything. We're sitting here. We were quiet. We were
You're
peaceful.
worshiping out here.
Praying. What does that have anything to do with you?
Go back to your country.
That's fine.
You're demolished Middle East.
First off, we're actually born here. We're born here. Yes, we were.
I just want to be clear. These are, one of them is a child, and these are American citizens who were born in America. That was later confirmed. These are 100% American citizens born in America. Who this is Marjorie. If you're just joining, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene's ex-husband. I'm just showing everyone why she had to divorce him.
All this shit. You're not American.
It doesn't matter.
Be American.
Don't nuns wear covering themselves?
Be American. Don't be Afghani or whatever the
Not even.
We're not Afghani.
You're literally racist. You just said anything.
It doesn't matter. Use the racist word, but be American. Don't be
Okay. I'm sorry if it's not on your standard. You can go ahead and leave. I don't know why you're wasting your time. Okay, then if you don't care so much, you can go ahead and enjoy your day.
But you guys all day long.
Okay.
Because
All right.
your countries are so. You know where y'all are from is so. Don't let them come here.
All right.
Go back to your country.
I can call the cops. All right. If you're gonna keep harassing us, that's fine.
What are you talking about?
One is that people people say he's following them. Like, people in the comments are like, why don't they just ignore him? He's stalking them. They're walking away and he's following them in his car. Just to be clear, like, why doesn't he just not attack children who are walking? Like, I don't know.
What about your date? What's the point? Are you gonna follow us? What's the point?
I'm trying to get out.
Do you want to learn about our religion?
Go back to your country.
Have a good day. Have a good day. That's okay. That's okay. Just leave him alone. Go have a good day. Oh my God.
He starts that shit by saying, I question your authority. Your authority to pray on your own? I question your authority for saying something to them. You worthless, racist piece of shit. And all of the things he says. Go back to your country. You're shitty Middle Eastern, blah, blah. You're not American if you're wearing. Goddamn, dude. You are such a giant hunk of shit. And when I tell everyone exactly who you are, that's going to track. Because he's this dude, Perry Green, as in Marjorie Taylor Greene's ex-husband. Hold on, because the Mirror had perhaps the best headline in this situation. Husband files for divorce after wife has affair with polyamorous tantric sex guru. And I'm sure there were some questions about why that divorce happened back when it happened. Like, oh, what split them up? And then homie rolled into this video in a Cybertruck. And that did a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to answering the question of why Marjorie Taylor Greene might not have wanted to stay in that marriage, may have looked elsewhere. But here's the takeaway, Perry. In that scenario, the un-American person was you. Freedom of religion is a cornerstone of this country, and you tried to take that away from those young ladies, who I believe some are minors, by the way, you fucking scumbag. So I don't know if your life can get worse than being married to Marjorie Taylor Greene and then not even being good enough for Marjorie Taylor Greene as you roll around in your Cybertruck that's almost certainly going to fall apart at any point. But if it can get worse for you, this video proves that it absolutely should.
You're demolished Middle East.
I was looking at the date because I want to say this video was posted on April 1st. Yeah, I think this happened like a week before or something. So it was like back in March sometime when this happened. It happened a while ago. And I showed it like months ago when I first saw it. And I was like, holy shit. Like, no one. Can you imagine that's what this guy will do while being filmed? Like, what was he doing when no one's watching? You know what I mean? This is the tip of an iceberg. What someone will do when people are filming them is the tip of the iceberg of what they are capable of when no one is around. That's all I was trying to say. Like, yeah. But, I mean... Yeah, and yeah, that is a Cybertruck, by the way. He is, of course, driving a Cybertruck, which is the ultimate sign of being a creep. Like, so, yeah, I mean, it all tracks, I think. We have to move on now to that hearing, this insane hearing that happened this morning, since... God, I just can't even get into... I believe I was reading a new study, like, for every person in the 1% that's getting a tax cut, 4 Americans lose their health care. It's crazy. Like, all of these things are coming out. Sorry, I've got to switch presentations really quick because I don't have this part in here. I have so many different... Oh my God, I forgot I put these. I just want to show you something. Gavin Newsom posted this today, which, his press office account. Just saying, Gavin Newsom's press office just posted this today, and I was like, that's about right. There he is. There's our fearless leader. There's the guy that rides sharks. And then, like, by the way, this is real. This is also from today. Trump is fundraising off not being dead. Like, he is sending out fundraising emails off the fact he's not dead. The bar is in hell for conservatives. Hey, you're a bigot who's been credibly accused of grape or SA and huge amounts of fraud, who's of low intelligence, has no idea how to, base their opinions in data, and will do anything. A guy who says no men should wear makeup, but has a full face of makeup on, says they should do. Now we're fundraising off, hey, I'm not dead. This thing, This is real. This is a fund. I get Trump's fundraising emails. This is real. Trump is fundraising off not being dead. Like, that's for real. Like, I mean, I think it's supposed to be a joke. Trump fundraises off everything, truly. Any and everything. Like, he just, and they like, I mean, just the grifting is never ending. Oh yeah, I'll get to that. Hopefully we get to it tomorrow. There's a really good thread this journalist named Adam Cochran made, who I love. He's brilliant. And it's about what's wrong with Trump. Hopefully we'll get to that tomorrow. But I just think it's funny that that's the facts. And some of this is this was going to help us all lose our faith in America. But before we watch this RFK hearing that just happened, that I was clipping, I just want to play this. This is, Harry Ent does statistical analysis and polling for CNN, and his subject was vaccines. I mean, America is getting dumber. That's what we can be sure of. And I like how he's like, RFK Jr. is the most popular person in the Trump administration. I guess of all of the people in the Trump administration that no administration has ever been mathematically despised more than this one, that I guess he's hated the least of all of other people in the cabinet that are hated more. Yeah. Hold on, sorry. I've got to get my clip. I know I have it. Give me 1 second. Sometimes when I add things, they don't add, so I have to go find them. Here it is. Oh, wait, wrong one. Where's my... Here it is. I actually hate this clip. Is the truth. I have fat fingers. Okay, here we go. Tap the screen. Let's get to 200K. We should be at 250K. I can only do this for an hour and 45 more minutes. I have a doctor's appointment. I've got to do something about my sinus infection because these meds aren't working. So I have to go at probably 3:15 at the latest. So tap the screen, share the live, and let's get engaged.
Secretary Kennedy could be the most embattled member of the cabinet. Fact check me here.
No, I think that's a false. That's a Daniel Dale fact check for you. False on that. What are we talking about here? Net favorable ratings of key Trump officials. Look at this. RFK Jr. ain't exactly popular, but he's the...
It's like, of the shitty, I guess he's the least. I love how he's like, he's the most popular guy in the... They hate everybody in the Trump administration. With the left and independents combined, all there is disdain for the Trump administration. So yeah, I guess he's the least hated, which is delusional because he's literally engaged in a eugenics plan. Like, I mean, truly, that is the outcome of what RFK Jr. is doing. I mean, he's given many speeches talking about how he believes in eugenics. If you don't know what eugenics is, look up that word. It's EUGENICS. And you can look up mustache man and eugenics. But, I mean, that's what it is. It's survival of the fittest. It's weeding out the population. Like, I mean, that is... like the CDC director that resigned and all the other doctors that walked out, that is what they were stating unequivocally, is that this is eugenics. Like, they can't, the first rule of the, oh my God, Hippocratic oath is do no harm. And they're like, yeah, well, we're working for a guy that has never consulted us once for scientific data, is making this shit up as he goes, and seemingly has a plan to engage in eugenics, which is a culling of the U.S. population, which, yeah, I mean, and I've talked about this, it goes with my economic theory. Like, when all we are seeing is trickle-down economics just creates wealth inequality, right? And they don't want to pay for the people at the bottom of the economy. They don't want to provide living wages. They don't want to provide health insurance, which is a human right. And what's easier is just make it harder for them to survive. Don't. Make it harder for them to get vaccines, which I do find it hilarious that RFK, I mean, I guess the first people to unalive will be the majority of MAGA that have no idea that vaccines are their best chance at survival. But, whatever. Let's call that herd. Oops, sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Hopefully it's still possible.
Harry, it's interesting. Fact check me here.
False on that. What are we talking about here? Net favorable ratings of key Trump officials. Look at this. RFK Jr. ain't exactly popular, but he's the most popular of all the key officials that we have recent polling on. Pete Hegseth, his net favorable minus 14 points. J.D. Vance, minus 11. Marco Rubio, minus 10. RFK Jr. is at minus 7, but minus 7 beats minus 10, beats minus 11, beats minus 14. So, no, RFK Jr. is not a drag on President Trump. He's not the most embattled. In fact, he is the most popular official in Trump's cabinet, at least according to the polling.
It is interesting, though there have been calls for his resignation among some people in the CDC, but this was surprising to me to see these poll numbers here, which is why I welcomed the fact check.
I don't know what is surprising. You're saying, hey, every single person Trump is number one is absolutely hated in the Trump administration. And of those people that no one trusts, I mean, of people whose brains work, of independents and the left, of people that follow lines of logic and aren't in cognitive dissonance, like we hate all of them and he's hated the least. That's the trophy now, is like, hey, this guy's hated the least. He should be hated the most. I mean, he is doing so much harm to children. It is disgusting, who are the only people worth a damn in this country that we should be protecting. So, I mean, I think that's a little strange, but I mean, who we have to choose from? Couch boy, pathological lying weirdo, Lil Marco, another pathological lying weirdo, Pete Hegseth, who I had to read a 25-page police report where he was credibly accused of grape by a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Republican woman at a Republican conference in California. Like, yeah, I mean, the bar is in hell of who he is less hated than. But okay.
From you. Another thing in the news has to do with Florida, where they're trying to overturn all vaccine mandates, including vaccine mandates in school for children. What do the polls tell us about that?
Okay, this to me is one of the most interesting and, in my opinion, most troubling trend lines that we have seen. Okay, vax kids against infectious diseases, the government should require it. You go back to 1991, it was 81%, okay? Then we go to 2019, it's 62%. Look at where that number fell to by 2024. It was just 51%. That is a 30-point drop from 34 years ago. My goodness gracious, now a bare majority say that the government should in fact require kids to be vaccinated against infectious diseases. Amongst Republicans, it's the opposite. The majority say the government shouldn't require it. Now I should
point out, this is the transition, and this is why I tie this to economics, trickle down economics, right? I always talk about 1980, but you can go back from 1975 until now, right? Like you can see it. America's getting dumber as wealth inequality increases, as government protects the rich, as healthcare programs are defunded, as the Department of Education is starved. People get dumber, more conspiratorial, more idiotic, right? I mean, this is true. Like, it drives them into poverty. The only way out of poverty is education. And the only thing that's dangerous for a fascist takeover is education, is science, is facts, is data-driven policy decisions, right? I mean, all of this tracks. Like, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I mean, for a MAGA to be so dumb that they are participating in themselves getting dumber, understanding less, and it's literally leading them to a social engineering project, otherwise known as eugenics, where they are engineered out of existence by denying the poor, which is all of us, access to healthcare, access to education. That is the only ability to have that's the only way to have upward mobility. That is essentially what is happening. This is a social engineering project where we are all starved out of existence. And I don't want to tell you this, but I mean, the case study for this would be the Palestinians in that open air prison. Same thing happened to them. I could take you on a longer journey of how that happened, and it was accelerated because of world wars and different needs to exterminate people faster. But this is how it started, making it harder or more impossible to buy houses, like all sorts of, making it harder to have access to education, making it harder to have access to good food and nutrition, making it harder to have access to the vaccines they needed, making it harder to have, all this is exactly what happened to the Palestinians, of what Trump's doing to the lower middle class in America. There's no middle class, so I'm just going to say all the rest of us. That's the facts. And I love how MAGA is too dumb. They're cheering on the social engineering product that will be their destruction in the end, which is the ultimate irony. That is how dumb. How dumb must you be to be cheering on your own demise and then showing up in live streams in the comments and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay, keep not getting vaccinated for the measles. Cool. Definitely don't vaccinate your offspring. Like maybe your genetic line should die. I just can read. I just understand science and math and understand how to find information. But who am I to tell you? Whatever. Great. Keep up the great parenting.
Point out this does depend a little bit on question wording. The polling out this morning says that the government should encourage it, but encourage it is very different from requiring it. And when it comes to requiring it, the American public has become increasingly skeptical of the idea that, in fact, the government should require kids to be vaccinated against infectious diseases.
And I want you here to talk about the political environment. So
asking me why they're unaliving people. Well, I could tell you, because of wealth inequality. Wealth inequality is growing, right? And as late stage capitalism happens, the upper middle class, the upper class, the 1% don't want to feel the effects of late stage capitalism. That's why I don't want to get into my chatbot economics teachers I use to have I have conversations with smart chatbots that are economics professors, and I was talking about this with one, and this is what I talk about. Like, my issue is not like I could talk about, Keynesian economics, liberalism, the globalism that we created. Like, our economy is based on consumption. The problem is that within trickle-down economics, the only thing we know that's been created is a shitload of wealth inequality. Like, that's why I cannot stand listening to MAGA say, we're number one GDP. What the fuck does that have to do with you? You don't have healthcare. You're one bankruptcy. You're one medical bankruptcy from having not a goddamn thing. And you're not getting any of that wealth. You're not getting any of that income. It's concentrated at the top. And I was having a debate on Friday. It was a bad debate because I just was overexhausted and I couldn't get my words out. But I think this is my point. I could talk about either different economic systems and strategies to distribute goods and services and what to do with currency. But the problem is this: in the current system we're in with trickle-down economics, when wealth is constantly being transferred to the top of the economy, right? What happens at the top of the economy is that this is like low velocity circulation of currency, right? When money is concentrated in middle and lower classes, it's being spent constantly. It is fueling the economy. And understand, the US economy is consumption based. We have to consume constantly so that that is what keeps our economy flowing. Now, when income is concentrated at the top of the economy and it's staying there, they have no need to recirculate that money. They have enough money. So what are they doing with it? They're speculating with it in the stock market, in the housing markets, causing what? Bubbles, right? Like the tech bubble that crashed, the housing bubble that crashed in 2009, right? That is what's happened. They speculate on different things, concentrate huge amounts of capital there, overvalue stocks and corporations, and then those bubbles crash and we all lose everything, which causes another, transfer of wealth to the top of the economy. And I don't like quantitative easing. Quantitative easing, like, people always, when you talk to idiot MAGA people who think they're libertarians, I agree quantitative easing causes inflation. I just want to explain that, right? But it's the same problem. Quantitative easing has to happen because of, this system we've decided to use. Quantitative easing is when we're not printing physical money like dollars, like you can hold in your hand. We're printing digital money, right? And then we're buying like bonds, stocks, right? We're infusing the economy and banks with capital. I mean, that's what's essentially happening. But that money is going to banks first, and it is creating more transfers of wealth to the top of the economy. Quantitative easing itself does. It does hurt inflation, which could be overcorrected, you know? Because when I was having that, sorry, not just to keep following, now, like I was talking about trickle down economics, and what fascinates me and a lot of people who are interested in economics is modern monetary theory, which is like this idea that everyone's like, oh my God, the US government, we owe so much money, look at this deficit, look at the debt, what are we going to do? Yeah, I mean, actually, modern monetary theory is an economic theory that says, hey, debt on government balance sheets are assets in the private sector, right? That's what we're saying. Deficit means nothing, essentially, because whatever is a deficit in the public, in the government balance sheet is, I know, Toodle, I'm so glad you're here to hear this. But you should have been present when my chatbot and I were having this conversation for 3 hours. He was like, you're so smart. I should read to you what he said. Anyways, like deficits on a balance sheet are assets in the private sector. But the problem is still the same problem. I love the ideas of modern monetary theory. What Biden was doing with the Green New Deal, that was largely modern monetary theory. But the issue of modern monetary theory, right, it's based on fiat currency. If you control your own currency, right, then who cares how much you owe and to who? Most of our debt, I mean, these are things we owe to ourselves and different issues of the government, and we're using that to fund assets in the private sector, right? And none of that essentially matters as long as we have enough social capital and belief in our economy to keep investor confidence alive, right? Modern monetary theory is fascinating. What Biden was doing with the Green New Deal is that, but here's the thing. If you have a charlatan, if you have a fascist, grifting authoritarian who's just stealing and concentrating wealth at the top of the economy, it doesn't matter what the economic theory is. All you have are transfers of wealth. Modern monetary theory is about infusing capital. I mean, if it was done right to benefit everyone in this country, we would be infusing capital into the middle class, or job guarantee is part of modern monetary theory. Let's say all these idiots with their asset bubble speculation at the top of the economy create a recession. A recession is just a loss in demand in a consumption-based economy. Let's say they create a recession and we all lose our jobs. In modern monetary theory, there's something called job guarantee. We would just be put on the books of the government and be given a basic living wage that way, right? And how do you control inflation? Taxing is just a way to control inflation. You tax the money out of the economy when there's too much money circulating. Modern monetary theory is fascinating. But as long as, let me just put it this way, because I think about this stuff all the time. My mind works overtime thinking about economics. I'm fascinated by it. But as long as as conservatives are in control, they're just stealing. Like, you could use modern monetary theory to help the middle class, to help all of us. We could all be okay. We could have healthcare. We could invest in roads and bridges and products things that directly benefit everyone in America, in retirement, all sorts of things. But as long as we allow grifting conservatives that only care about the 1%, all we will have are huge transfers of wealth to the top. I'm so tired of people saying we have the number one GDP. 1% of this people in this country are doing okay. The rest of us are not. Like, yeah, we could have high-speed rails. Like, getting on planes is a joke, but and that's the next step is getting money out of politics, right? Or the first step. As long as lobbyists and billionaires decide every single person who has any power in the U.S. government, that's why I say I get frustrated with libertarians. And sometimes when I get frustrated, I have like a PTSD attack, so I can't think, right? And I always say, like, you're mad about printing digital money, but that's not the answer. Why are we doing it, right? Like, why are we quantitative easing? It's because these huge transfers of wealth are happening. These speculation at the top is happening in the stock market by very rich people and corporations, creating huge asset bubbles. And that then burst. Then we're using quantitative easing, and what we learned from the Great Depression, the biggest lesson of the Great Depression was if we don't immediately, you can create crypto bubbles as well. Yeah. I mean, that's probably the next giant crisis we're going to be in. And what we learned from the Great Depression is if we don't infuse currency immediately into the economy, understand the Great Depression, the unemployment rate was like 25% or something. Like, that's how bad it was. And that's what libertarians believe. We should suffer as much as possible, as fast as possible. Like, it's a dose of medicine we all need to take, but that would be a culling of the population. Everyone's going to die. People are, the middle and lower classes have no excess capital, no way to buy food, no way to buy goods, right? So it would literally be a culling of the population. But that's the point, is as long as conservatives are in charge, as long as there's not a sane person who cares about everybody in this country, not just corporations and billionaires, there is always just going to be huge amounts of wealth inequality created. And that is the conversation we need to have, is why are conservatives constantly contributing to wealth inequality? That's all they do, period. And that's why I didn't have the words when I was debating that kid on Friday, but he was like, I believe in low taxes. Well, first of all, tariffs are a regressive tax. If you believe in low taxes, you should hate Trump for the tariffs. It's fucking up our whole economy. None of that makes any sense. And which, by the way, we just got another jobs report. We have the worst jobs report. Well, the government jobs report, unless Trump doctors it, comes out tomorrow morning. But prior to the government jobs report coming out, the private sector job reports, we have the worst jobs report in the private sector since COVID. We have more people unemployed than jobs available in this country. I guarantee you that is largely due to tariffs. So, and it's the same thing. You can't switch between, modern monetary policy, who cares? Like a debt in the government is an asset on the balance sheet, but still taxation is how we keep inflation low, right? Like, we need to take money out of circulation, but this is the key, not from the middle and lower classes, right? We have to tax it out of where it is stagnant. When money is in the hands of middle and lower classes, it's immediately recirculated, because we don't have reserve money. When it concentrates at the top of the economy, it stays up there, and it's used to create these asset bubbles through speculation. Like, that is the problem. Sorry, I could talk about this for 10 more hours. I will not subject anyone to it. Yeah, anytime, I have no money. Anytime I make money, anytime I'm tipped on this show, I use it probably within the next week, right? It's recirculated in the economy immediately. When someone's making 10 million a year, that money is not high velocity money. It's not recirculating. It is just being used to speculate and create asset bubbles that then cause the housing bubble to burst, or the tech bubble to burst, or possibly the next crypto bubble to burst. That is the reality of the situation we're in. But you can't have that conversation with MAGA because they don't understand it. The problem is the corruption in government, but not the people. They'll point at being like, every government is corrupt. No, the money flowing into government, that people is corrupt, right? That is what we need. Sorry, I didn't talk. Sorry. I know I got some weird pop up on. I had a puzzle piece thing. I did not say anything while I was paused. I waited. Sorry. Let me get back to the presentation. I want to, as long as I'm talking about this economic stuff, maybe I'm going to show you this because it's important. I'm going to show you the jobs report stuff. Again, the final government jobs report will come out tomorrow, but what we have are the private sector jobs reports that have come out that are absolutely abysmal. Wait, what am I looking at? It's Thursday, right? Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm in the wrong place. I was like, this cannot be right. I know I put these in here. Here we go. And they're banning stock trading. So 2 things. First, I'm going to show you the stock trading stuff. This is a press conference. So much went on yesterday. I didn't have time to show you guys. AOC is trying again. And she's got Chip Kelly. She has other Republicans. They seem confident they might get it passed this time, because what we need is to ban stock trading in Congress. And if you're just there to get stock tips and to make a lot of money, then you shouldn't be there. You shouldn't